Welcome to Crisis in Contact Center Management.
This is a workshop for contact center leaders. We're at a 17-year low for customer experience. How's the agent doing at all of this? 8% attrition worldwide. 59% of employees are quitting. We know agents even worse. This hits the bottom line. And we are seeing many contact center leaders being terminated.
Yikes. I don't hear any of this from the outsourcers. How are things going on there?
There's a crisis in contact center outsourcing.
Oh,
also.
okay.
And it's even worse for the outsourcers. I've never seen client churn like it is now.
Yikes. I read the brochure of the outsourcers, and I've sat in on the pitch. My entire existence is just making people happy. And you're saying it ain't so.
That is the contact center outsourcing fallacy. Hey, we are experts. We improve customer and employee experience. We drive performance and efficiencies, and clients don't believe that. Unfortunately, through my own experience in selling outsourced services and marketing them, we had a client say, hey, I went on to Glassdoor, and you said your employee experience was so good and how you take care of your employees. You're worse than the other competitors in this bid. And it's like, huh. Let me get two sources, Indeed and Glassdoor, and just see BPOs from the largest to mid-size, and how are they doing? Here's the results. It's almost all red. No one's doing well. What's going on in the executive's mind? Only 60% believe customer service makes an impact on customer loyalty and retention. What do contact center leaders think? 98% of them think it does. 99% of customers say it does.
Correct. I'm going to suspect those guys think it's price and it's all of these other things like, service schmervis. I'm just going to automate all of it. Brian, we are here to make money.
Most customers want both self-service and human service, and I decide when I want each one. A customer wants a human when it's high urgency, high financial impact, high complexity, and high dissatisfaction. What can AI do that's different than a human? It's quick processing, and they're 24/7.
I am starting to see why the execs love AI. Doesn't complain, no PTO, no benefits, no healthcare.
Yeah, until they become self-aware. When you take a look at self-service, wow, what a great addition AI is. Because self-service is awful. AI is a great tool, but it can't do everything. It can't have that human-to-human conversation the customer wants. What's even more important is the agent can have an emotional impact in the conversation. That's really important for customer behavior.
I think another faulty belief, and it's probably the name of this workshop, Faulty Beliefs, has been that the customer and the service agent are in conflict. And contact center leaders are working overtime to align the agents. Oh, you must do this for the customer. The customer does not want to talk to you. You need to efficiently shove them off the phone. When in fact, it sounds like that's just the executive talking. That's not the customer.
Yep. And I have heard, hey, the research says that customers don't like talking to agents, so we're going to replace the agent because that's what they want. And it's like, no. The problem is we are having bad interactions between customers and agents, and it's usually the company's fault.
Correct.
And this one agent is like, I love helping customers. I just wish my company would let me do it.
Oh.
Part 2 is called the opportunity. Customers are influenced by emotions more than rationality.
Surprise.
If you have emotional satisfaction, they found the customer spent more and they stayed longer. If they were rationally satisfied, their behavior of spend and loyalty looked exactly the same as people who said they were dissatisfied.
Interesting.
Agents are actually the key to customer behavior and company profitability. What's a great interaction? Number one was that the customer felt like the agent was sitting next to him and they were working on the problem together. The second piece of that is they also believed that the agent benefited from the interaction. And they found the customer experience depends almost entirely on the agent. So we do all of these things to put process in place, and the human interaction dictates almost everything about the experience. And if you put one human in front of another human and one human needs help and the other one can provide it, there is a natural interaction that happens. The person getting helped is very thankful and has an emotional attachment, and the person who helped them feels really good about what they did.
The entire case being made by the Cobalt customer experience.
Yeah.
We must, as a imperative, figure out ways to get customers to talk to machines more and more and more and more and more and more and more.
What the customer and the agent want is the human-to-human interaction. It's not stinted by this idea of a customer-company relationship that has all these connotations and processes and scripts and everything to it. Those things have their place, but the problem has been the company coming in and putting all of these clamps down on the conversation, the opportunity. It's this thing called meaningful work.
Aha. Okay.
So there's 3 types of meaning, and this is very helpful for people to understand where the opportunity is and where it's not. Number 1, meaning from work, which is typically called compensation. When you go above market wages to try and drive employee retention, employee engagement, and also employee performance through money, it has very little impact, meaning at work. This is the company. And this is that idea of the ping pong tables, pool tables, the social event, Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Not a major impact on retention, engagement, and performance. And the most important, meaningful work, and it's the job itself. I think it's a meaningful job because I help people through my job and I have this positive reinforcement. That is the big opportunity. You move this one a little bit and the results move a lot. And through our meaningful work program, we see results immediately and dramatically, like 20 to 50% reduction in monthly attrition, and the improvement in performance, especially CSAT, 10 to 25%.
I think you just shot a lot of darlings here when you said, yes, this is a place of money, right? Then you said, while I am at work, you are offering a thing that doesn't sound like it costs as much money as money.
The ROI is amazing. Amas, do you want to read the quote of one of our favorite researchers, Catherine Bailey?
Absolutely. Researchers have shown meaningfulness to be more important to employees than any other aspect of work, including pay and rewards, promotion, or working conditions. Meaningful work can be highly motivational, leading to improved performance, commitment, and satisfaction. That's powerful. This is game, set, match.
The way we arrived at this wasn't through the research. It was actually through agent focus groups. When you ask agents, what do you like best about your job? And the overwhelming response is when I went above and beyond and really made a difference for a customer and in a sense in their life. Wait, really? Believe me, I was in this industry for decades before I saw this.
Right.
And okay, let's dive into that. So that's what you want most in your job. And you want it so much that you're willing to put in more effort going above and beyond because it's so worthwhile. Therefore, it will keep you in this job if you get that often enough. So that's great. But also it's great for the customer. They're happier. They have this emotional connection. They spend more, are loyal, and give referrals, and that drives profitability. From that small answer, you get big ramifications. What we recommend for contact center leaders is go try this yourself.
Yeah.
Ask your own agent. Okay, if this is for employees, well, where does management get their meaningful work? It's making a difference in their team member's life.
Beautiful.
And it's at work.
This is getting better and better.
And contact center leaders should also love their job. When all of a sudden you create this alignment, it's a win-win-win for everybody. The outsourcer is out of alignment with almost everybody. The executives are motivated by cutting costs.
Yep.
The contact center leader wants value, performance, and make sure that they're doing a great job for customers. The outsourcer, they're concerned about their own profitability.
Oh, yeah.
And agents want meaningful work or, worthwhile job where they can help the customer, and the customer wants to be helped. They want great service. This business model of an outsourcer, and I'm not judging outsourcers' ethics or personality, the model is broken. There is this disalignment. Meaningful work. Is there alignment there? So if the agent finds their work meaningful and they're really good then at helping customers and they stay longer, that's great for the customer. But isn't that great for the outsourcer because their costs are lower, their performance is better, and then the client's happier? There's now margin built into the model.
Right.
The outsourcer gains, but also the client gains. Everybody gets what they want out of this alignment.
We all want meaningful work. What is in the way?
This thing we call grind. The definition of grind interacts with the definition of meaningful work. Meaningful work is I authentically want to serve somebody in my work.
Right.
And grind is when something is preventing me from authentically serving someone at work.
Okay.
The agent has a customer come on and say, I still have this problem and I'm calling again. The agent responds with, I think I understand, and just be patient with me. The agent put the person on hold several times to talk to different people to try and get things solved. The agent finally comes back and says, I solved your problem. The customer was like, wow, thank you. You've made my day. The supervisor comes over and says, what have I told you about putting people on hold? And the call was too long. I'm going to fail you on that call. And you need to get better.
Lovely. I know this story very well.
All of a sudden, it's like deflated.
Yeah.
We said, when you put yourself in the agent's shoes, it's, yep, I want to help that customer, but there's a third entity, and this is the company. And more specifically, the supervisor.
Management. Yeah.
And when the customer and the company are not in alignment, the agent's in the middle, and we say, wow, what a grind that is for them to be in the middle.
Grind now makes sense. What are the things that stands between the customer and the agent?
It's how the supervisor manages. So all of the things we do to manage contact centers, it's mostly punitive. And also, it's dehumanizing.
Poor management is at the top of the list of meaning destroyers. Ouch. Ouch. Quote, and everything you've just said sounds like the job descriptions of leaders. Am I missing something here?
Well, there's been a mismanagement of good innovation. All of these things are actually good.
Yeah.
And however, when they're mismanaged, it starts to dehumanize the customer service experience. For example, contact center metrics, it's great. We have to measure so many things.
Of course.
But it starts to become grind when the measurement is more important than the customer as a human. QA, scripting, good ideas. And there's things that you have to have for compliance.
Correct.
But if you have a checklist mentality, it impedes the interaction. Then it gets into Six Sigma, process improvement. How often do you hear a supervisor say, just follow the process, just follow the process? Sometimes the process doesn't lead me to the solution, or if it's all about the process, I sound like a robot.
Right.
And then customer effort.
I was waiting patiently till we get to this one because you're going to make it all enemies here, but go on.
Once again, it's a good thing. It does impact somebody's overall satisfaction, without a doubt. However, this idea of effort has been taken pretty far, and it was stop delighting your customers as part of this customer effort movement. This was an article that swept through the industry in 2010.
It did. It did.
I think executives turned that into, we don't have to worry about the effectiveness of customer service. They say customer service does not impact customer retention, which they then immediately, and it's like one or two sentences later, say, oh, but low effort during customer service increases customer retention.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. The last thing is, do you really want to say to your service organization, stop delighting your customers? What if an executive was treated like an agent? Do you think they would start to understand why this doesn't really work? Imagine the executive getting consultation and saying, by the way, we really want to improve the efficiency and the performance of your job because you're really important to us. So we're going to monitor you 100%. Everything you do, because that's going to help.
Yeah. Look at your screens, every word you say. We'll monitor it. We'll score it.
We're also going to time you in your activities.
Yeah.
Because we believe your activities are taking too long. Also, when you're going into meetings, we figured out the best things to say and do. Therefore, we're going to give you a script, and you need to take care of those scripts. And if you don't do it, you're going to be in trouble because you're not following the process. When you're dealing with other people in the company, the employees of the company, the other management, they just want low effort. They just want it quick, convenient, easy. So we are going to measure your interactions with people because they really don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, especially if you don't comply, we think AI can actually do your job.
That's right.
And do your job better because they can comply to everything.
Yeah. It just makes the whole thing sound silly. The entire job is about being the face, voice, whatever of a company to emotionally connect with paying customers. The end. This sounds like a leadership failure.
Yeah. For the agent, number one source of grind is the supervisor. For the contact center leader, the number one source of grind are executives. We say the contact center leader has to battle the 4 horsemen of the leadership apocalypse.
Last one, the leadership lemons. Our executive leadership follows the industry and is highly resistant to change. In addition, these leaders demand that others follow their lead, making it very difficult for contact center leaders to rehumanize customer service. Amen, amen, amen. Anytime I write or I say something about this industry, I do a check to see what LinkedIn propeller heads are saying. And if it starts to sound the same, I start to question myself. So I very much connect to this.
I don't believe executives are bad people.
Of course not. No.
They just don't know what to do differently to take care of people. The opportunity is that if you're taking care of the people in this human value chain, you are going to be profitable. And that is the good news that we're really trying to talk about here.
Let's get into this problem a little bit more because I want to make sure people don't underestimate what we're up against here.
Yeah. One of the things that we published a couple of years ago was a report we called the Leadership Challenge. We didn't anticipate that that's what it was going to be, but that's what we heard from contact center leaders. Why can't people turn the corner on the people problem? As you see in the red there, we heard all of these things from companies. It'll go back to the way it was. We need more information. We need consensus among everybody before we do anything. Some said that their executives were saying, we don't want employees anyway. So this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Others, technology is going to solve the problem. Rome's burning, but they're telling us everything's great.
It's fine.
Unfortunately, that was 96% of what contact center leaders were experiencing from their executives. Those that did turn the corner were doing well, better than, pre-COVID. And it was this whole idea of, you know what, things have changed. The workforce in this Gen Z is different. The pandemic changed some things. So we need to figure out really what drives the employee and their experience. And many of them figured out we should experiment. Why do everything as a big company initiative where ultimately nothing gets done? Years later, you still have the problem, and the employees you had at the start of that are even different employees because of the high turnover.
Yeah.
So they experimented and allowed different groups to do different things and say what worked. And what they typically found what worked was how they managed those people. And working with the frontline managers was actually the biggest key. So that is the good news.
Beautiful.
Today, we have a solution. The solutions shift the mindset from, hey, we provide a service as an organization, to no, as an organization, we serve a person. So each person we come in contact with, whether it's internal or then down to the customer, if you can have that kind of mindset, you'll get this big advantage. Service is a thing. Serving is actually something active that involves people. You don't have to change what's on the left. You just have to make sure you start with the right. If you start with the people, you're going to get these amazing results. And what we found through our program, we can reduce monthly attrition 25 to 50%, and also increase performance, especially CSAT, 10 to 25% increase.
Your movement is about, let's get back to the way people naturally want to work and interact.
Correct. What we've done is create what we call this fifth talent meaningful work methodology. How can you be successful at navigating the different things and experiment? Because it is so hard to change an organization and change the minds of especially executives, also taking on your own team. They don't want to change. They're burned out. Once you experiment and you're successful, then people are attracted to success, and you'll get executive sponsors because they want the results you get. And if it's good for the people, they can start feeling good about what they're doing. One of the biggest opportunities that impacts agent behavior and customer behavior is how the supervisor manages the agent. That is your focal point. And that's why what we do is a management development program. That's the easiest context for people to understand, because if you can take care of that piece, big rewards. And as you go through it and have this experiment, you get the information you need. Then you can start to expand it, but then you also understand it better because you've done it. And then many people ask, well, does this work outside of the contact center? And it's like, well, absolutely it does. There's no doubt. This is universal. This should revolutionize, quite honestly, how we manage people.
I was worried you were going to be a radical, but you're actually quite pragmatic, Brian. So let's just...
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
No, it is.
In this process, data is important. We've created a survey to measure meaningful work and grind. When we first started doing this, we were shocked at the findings. We found 52 to 60% of what is influencing somebody's intent to quit are these two factors of grind and meaningful work. Meaning, grind and meaningful work are more important to intent to quit than everything else combined. Your pay, your career path, the pizza parties, all of these other things. Let's start by showing people their own organization. Because you're going to argue that, hey, I already have great employee experience and we do all of these things for employees. It's all good. So we don't need to solve anything there.
Right.
And it's like, boy, once you see it, wow, I now get it. If I can reduce grind and increase the level of meaningful work, I'm going to have these leading indicators of attrition and performance solved. When you do this program, you don't have to change the technology, the processes, or the metrics. For example, we did this with a client who had 5 outsourcers, and these were the results across the 5 outsourcers, and nothing was changed on the processes, the technology. So to simply go through the meaningful work program that we have set up, you do the survey, you do a workshop with senior leadership because they have to say, we understand and we're on board with this. And then the big thing is this 8-hour developing others course, which really goes through all of these aspects of grind and meaningful work, along with these 5 talents. You are going to be great as a manager, but also help your agents develop these 5 talents because then they're going to be great at serving customers. So using these 5 talents, you're going to find more meaningful work. Then we go down to the agent, and that's the serving others. It's this idea of getting back into this joy of serving, making this human-to-human connection, and get around the stinted customer-agent relationship. And we've seen great progress by really not doing major lifting and major changes. The great contact center challenge. Can you create a contact center organization where people love their job, including the contact center leader? Just take the challenge, do a pilot, because it's so hard to create change. But if you get a pilot and say 25 to 100 agents, just let them do this experiment. You're going to get a lot of the data that you need to say, well, this is then a better way. What's great is you do the survey and then you have the data to go into implementing the program. Pilot takes 1 week to implement and you're on your way.
1 week. Well, I can testify to that. Brian and team and the folks at Fifth Talent are doing something really, 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 really unique here. Go take the challenge.
There's a better way for everyone, and we're here to help.